How about we build 3 simple cedar projects that everybody can enjoy? Let's begin. For project number 1, we're going to need a total of 4 cedar fence pickets. And I cut those pickets down into 4 pieces at 48 inches long, or 4 foot, and 4 pieces at 18 inches long. At this point, I realized I forgot to tell you need one more piece of wood. Now this could be scrap, stuff left over from previous projects. It can be a 2x4, it can be a 2x10, whatever you have, it's okay. We just need 4 pieces that are about 11 inches long. Now they don't have to be real wide. I'd probably actually prefer them to be cut down pretty narrow, maybe about 1.5 inches wide. So make sure you get that. Now take one of your 48-inch long pieces and one of the 18-inch pieces, and we're going to put them together in just a corner fashion. I'm going to have the 18 on the inside here. Then we're going to take one of those scrap pieces and we're going to line it up right in that corner. And now we're going to take some screws from the outside going in to secure it to this piece. 2 quick tips with this. You probably are going to need a clamp to hold it in position so it doesn't move around on you. And also it's probably a good idea to pre-drill that hole before you install that screw. Then we need to repeat that process on the remaining 3 corners. Once we have the first layer connected, we want to grab some popsicle sticks or craft sticks and we want to place those right across the corners here. And that'll allow just a little bit of spacing for the next layer, so as they expand and contract, they don't bind against each other. Then we're going to attach the second layer just like we did the first, with screws in each corner. Now if any of your fence pickets happen to be a little dirty or disgusting looking, make sure to face that side to the inside of the project and it'll be less likely to be seen. And the project is done. And if you haven't guessed already, it's a simple little raised bed for... We needed to make sure we got some pretty plants so that I can make my wife extra happy. Hope you get a chance to build this. For project number 2, we only need 1 picket. Now I cut down 3 boards at 11 inches long, and you'll notice that these boards have a major contrast between the sides. A light and dark are major differences here. This could be a little bit of a challenge for this project, so I would suggest getting boards that are more solid all the way across. It'll just make this project so much easier for you. But I'm going to continue with this just to see how it turns out. We next need to make a mark halfway across this board the long ways. In most cases, your fence pickets are about 5.5 inches, so in that case it'll be 2 3/4. We'll just make a mark right there. And we're going to do that on all 3 pieces. Now it's time to cut these boards down to center. Now if you happen to have a table saw, that would be the easiest. But if you don't, that's okay. You might be able to do it with a miter saw, and that's what I'm going to do. Double check your miter saw and make sure that it is set to exactly 90 degrees from your fence here. Otherwise, if you cut it at a bad angle, this won't work. Now my miter saw is a sliding version, which will make this much easier. So please be very, very careful if you're going to try and cut this on a miter saw. Then grab 4 of the best looking ones. In my case, I'm going to try and match these 2 together because they're very similar in color, and these 2 because they're similar as well. We actually want to stack these on top of each other. We're now going to tape them together, making sure they're nice and even as possible on the ends and on the sides. I would also put the tape closer to the center of the boards. It'll be less likely for them to be cut. Going back over to our miter saw, we're now going to change the angle here to 30 degrees. So unscrew it, move it over, put it in position, make sure it locks in, and tighten it down. Now this next cut is going to be extremely dangerous, and I'm just showing you as an example. I'm not recommending that you do it. I'd suggest that you can find a different way, but miter saws in most cases can only turn 45 to 50 degrees side to side, and I want a 60-degree cut. So that's why I've turned it to 30 here. And if I was to cut it this way, it would only be a 30-degree cut. So I'm actually going to do it with the miter saw. It's not really recommended to do, but I'm going to turn it to 90 degrees here and make that cut so it'll be at 60 degrees. To make this a little more safe, I'd suggest maybe putting some double-sided tape right here, or if there's a way for you to clamp your wood down to your miter saw, that would make it a little more safe. In any case, this is extremely dangerous. It might be a little bit hard to see, but in my case, I added some really thin double-sided tape here to help control this cut. I've also lined up the blade with this back corner right here because I want to cut right at that corner, trying not to remove too much wood on this side. Now I removed the tape, and using that same angle here, we're now just going to rotate it 90 degrees and push it back against the fence. Then we're going to line the blade up with that back corner and cut 30 degrees off of this side. Now I've taken the tape off these, and we want to kind of put them together in the same color. So we'll have the dark ones here and the light ones up here. Now once we have everything in alignment, you'll have a nice little diamond shape. Now of course, at the cuts that we made, if they're not exactly even, try and make sure that at least the top and the bottom are as close as possible, because we can fix these side ones once everything is in place. Then we're going to take some glue and glue all these pieces together, making sure again that the top and the bottom look the nicest. Now here's the one we just made, and one I made it just a little bit before this because I wanted to give you an example of, here is the two-toned piece of wood, and you can tell there's just such a major contrast. You may or may not like that. Here's one, the colors were a little bit more similar, and it kind of goes together a little bit easier, but that is totally up to you. Now remember, we had one board left over that we cut in half, and we only need one of these pieces, so set one of them to the side, and we're actually going to cut some additional angles on this one as well. Now just as we did the 60 degree on the previous, I'm going to do the same on this one, but on both sides. And once you cut those out, it should look something like this. I unfortunately hit a knot in the process of cutting this out, so I may have to cut out a new one of these, but I'm going to still use it as an example. We're going to put this right on top of any of those gaps that we have where those two pieces of wood come together. And once we have that in place, make sure everything lines up, and then we can glue it down as well. You may even have to sand down some of these edges out here to make it look nice, but overall, that should look pretty good. And here is the final result. It's a cool little diamond shelf that you can put on your wall. Now of course you can stain this, maybe a dark color or a lighter color, or you can put a polyurethane on top of it to protect it. Now of course this would be great for maybe a little vase up here or just something ornamental, and it'll look great up on your wall. I hope you get a chance to make one. For project number 3, we're going to use one picket. Now if by chance you have a bunch of scrap left over from some of your previous projects, you can use those as well. I've cut 2 pieces down into 11 inches and then one piece that is about 15. Now I did incorporate the little dog ears that came from the factory. If by chance you don't have these, you can always cut those in. It's just a 1-inch triangle off the edge. I also incorporated this little knot here, which I think looks really good, and especially in this finished project. Now grab one of the 11-inch pieces because we need to take a measuring tape and measure it. Find the center because we need to cut it in half just like we did on the previous project. Now this is 5 1/2 across, so that would be 2 3/4. Then set those 2 pieces to the side and grab the other remaining 11-inch piece. We want to actually measure up from the bottom 2 inches, and from side to side find the center, which again would be 2 3/4, and we want to make a mark right there because we are going to drill a 2-inch hole right there at that spot. That'll allow about 1 inch of room at the bottom to keep the integrity of your wood. Now if by chance you get a bunch of splinters in the process of drilling out this hole, make sure you get some sandpaper and sand that out really smooth so there's no chance that anybody gets splinters. Now we can start some of the assembly. We're actually going to take these 2 pieces that we split in half. We're going to make sure they're nice and flush on the bottom on here and on the sides. And then we can attach it. You can use screws, nails, or glue, whatever you'd like. Then we're going to attach the front on here as well, making sure the hole will be towards the bottom or the flat side. And again, nails, screws, or glue. And with that top now in place, we want to measure the bottom. Again, it should be 5 1/2 inch wide, and it is. And then we need to measure the depth back here, and it should be pretty close to 4. It's actually just a hair under here, and I waited because we don't want any wood sticking out the front. It's better to have it actually slightly inset. But it's just, it looks like maybe a 1/16 of an inch under 4 inches, so let's cut that out. And there we go. And to attach this, I'm just again going to use some brad nails, but you can use screws or glue. That's up to you. Now on the top, we need another piece of wood, but unlike the bottom, we do want it to overhang a little bit on the front. Right off the bat, this is about 3 1/4, so I'm thinking about 3 1/2 will give me just enough overlap. With the top cut out, let's take a quick measure, and that should work nicely. But we do not want to secure it down, so do not use any nails or screws or glue on that. We actually want this to be able to open. And to do that, I'm going to incorporate this little antique hinge that I found. I think that'll look nice. And there we go, it is now complete with a nice little opening lid. But what is this for? Well, in my shop, in my house, I use a lot of nitrine gloves, and these boxes are not very pretty. But if I was to take those gloves out and stick them in here and hang this on my wall, that would look much nicer. But we're not limited to just that. In my area, we still have a lot of plastic bags at stores, and I like to reuse a lot of those. So fold them up, shove them in there, and pull them out when you need to. But you're not limited to just that. Use this for whatever you need and just reuse and reuse, and I hope you really get a chance to make one. And there's 3 great projects for you. If you can think of any other way to make them better, please put that in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Plus you'll help out a ton of other people. Otherwise, get out and shop and have fun building.